Welcome back to the Graveyard Shift, where two idiots talk horror. I'm your host Graham, and today I'm joined by my special guest star, my amazing mother Chrissy.
Hi, everyone. Welcome to our show today. Bear with us as I have no idea what I'm doing. So, today we are talking about Walking Dead, Dead City, Season 2, Episode 1.
So this is kind of our show. Like you and I, we've watched a lot of Walking Dead.
Yes, all of Walking Dead and all the spin offs.
Well, you haven't watched all the spin-offs. We did not watch Fear the Walking Dead. We only watched like four seasons.
Yeah.
4 seasons. You have not watched Dale Dixon.
Some of it.
You did?
Yeah.
Okay, I need to catch you back up on that.
Yeah.
And then we watched all of the main series, all 11 seasons. Since season 3, I think you started, or you started in season 4. I started in season 3, and she started in season 4.
But I caught up.
Yeah. But Walking Dead's our show. This is what we watch. We love all zombie stuff.
Yeah. Grandma didn't always, but we did.
No, my grandma, when she lived with us, she hated Sunday nights at our house. She would make the funniest faces doing it. Yeah, so we just got done watching the newest episode of Dead City, which stars Maggie and Negan from the original show.
Correct.
And this kind of picks up almost like a year, it seems, after season 1.
Well, Negan mentioned it had been a year.
Yeah. I thought it was interesting. I thought it was going to pick up like right afterwards. Do you remember season 1 at all?
Yes. This is just not my favorite spin-off.
No, which one was your favorite? Obviously not Dale Dixon because you didn't really watch that one.
I liked some of it. I liked what I saw of his though.
Those The Ones Who Live.
Yeah.
That was with Rick and Michonne.
I liked that one. I liked
Okay.
I mean, I like this one. It's just probably not my favorite. I don't. There's just certain things I don't like about it.
I like Negan. I've always been
I like Negan. But I don't like how military this is. I guess I don't know if military is really the right word, but it's just dark. Like
this one is darker, but Dale Dixon's also gets pretty dark in season 2.
What I mean though, he's out walking in the woods and there's regular houses or things like that. These guys feel like they're living in basements with no lighting.
Gotcha.
It's not like.
It's not like in Alexandria.
Right. Where Maggie used to live in houses and they all worked together and farmed and whatever. This just seems very dark and dismal. Like you're not really living.
Yeah, I can see that. It's definitely a much different tone than the other spin-offs. Like in the other spin-offs, you're out in the woods, you're out in nature. You live in small settlements, but this is like you're in New York.
Maggie's area was called the Bricks.
Yes.
So it just seemed like all the bricks on the floor on the ground is just falling apart.
Yeah, I definitely do like Alexandria and Hilltop better. Mm-hmm. So starting off,
the opening scene was a trash truck, which I thought was a great idea to pick up
the zombies, the walkers,
find a walker, kill him, scoop them up, whatever.
They were very organized. That was kind of like my initial impression of how organized it was. Living like in a place, New York, where it's so big, so empty at this point, but still so many walkers.
Still a lot of walkers. Yeah, and then all the cars had spikes on the end.
Yeah,
protect them. They had that in season 1 though too.
They've had in the main show too. I think they had some of that.
And then it switches over, so it starts with the trash trucks in New York, with where Negan is, but then it switches over to actual Herschel and Maggie.
Do you want to say why they were collecting walkers?
Yeah, I mean, we found out that they're collecting walkers, stripping them of, I guess, all their belongings, all their clothes, whatever they had on them, and then dumping their bodies, and basically the bodies are turning into fuel to power up the city.
Yeah.
Which, I mean,
was a really cool scene.
Yeah, somebody was smart to develop that.
Yeah. So you saw like Radio City get like lit up and like the street lights in front of it, and it's all colorful.
Yeah. It was kind of gross, but smart at the same time. So I guess that's the methane that they were creating, or
that powers up New York.
Yeah.
And then, so you said it switched over to Maggie.
So then it does switch over to Maggie, where they are out in the woods. Herschel definitely grew up in the last year, but they're hunting deer, and it seemed like she was doing a lot of recap during that time. You know, she was being very motherly. You know, talking to them. She was doing a lot of recaps. In the beginning, that's what the show was doing, was recaps. But she did keep seeing moths.
Which was a very interesting point. Yeah. And it get mentioned later in the episode, but she's also with Ginny, who's Negan's adopted daughter at this point.
Yeah, I guess, yeah.
And that, honestly, it sort of reminded me of something from the comics in Maggie's role. So, I don't know if you remember Sophia all the way back in season 2. It was Carol's daughter.
Yeah.
She got, in the comics, she didn't get bit and actually lived with Maggie and Glenn when Glenn was still alive. And they kind of became her adoptive parents.
Gotcha.
So it just kind of like reminded me of that almost, which was kind of cool to see them tying that in.
Well, because Maggie's gone through a lot from when, like you said, when she first came from the barn with her dad and all that.
Oh yeah. I mean, seeing Maggie's kill grow through these seasons. I will say I liked Maggie more in this episode than I did like.
She's very hardcore.
I didn't really like
still
Maggie.
Motherly.
Yes, I didn't like Maggie in season 11. I felt like she just had too much hatred towards Negan.
Yeah.
And even like in season 1 of Dead City, but like this episode, it really did seem like she was trying to move on from that.
When in the beginning of season 1, she had a lot of hatred for Negan until she met up with him, and I think she finally maybe forgave him a little bit, and now she's still has a lot of hatred, but not so much for Negan.
Yes.
Then the scenes kind of kick back over to Negan. Like I said, about a year's gone by, and he's in jail. So they've jailed him.
Was kind of funny considering everything he's been through.
Yeah.
He was a free man.
But he seemed very comfortable in there, like he was content. I don't know. That seemed weird, but he was very content just hanging out in his own little 1-bedroom cell.
I think he was kind of used to it because of being in jail in Alexandria.
True, yeah.
Because remember, he was in jail there for 7 years?
Yeah. But he had a good, I don't want to say outlook. I'm trying to think of what I want to say. His
view.
His brain or mind was good considering he was just in one room. But he had, I guess, a guard that he spoke to, which brought him dinner, which were cockroaches. So apparently he's been having a diet of cockroaches, which was totally gross.
Cockroaches, we found out.
Yeah. After we watched a little bit more, we found out that they did, in fact, give Negan real cockroaches to sample on that plate.
That's Jeffrey J. Morgan. They didn't tell him. They said it was fake. So half the plate was chocolate and half the plate was real.
Yeah. Gross.
Cockroaches are like I don't know. I hate cockroaches.
Any bug. It just kind of kept going back between Maggie and Negan. So if we go back to back to Maggie. In comes Governor Charlie Bird, who I think we're just being introduced to that lady.
See, there was someone introduced at the end of season 1. I don't remember if it was her or if it was one of her lieutenants.
Yeah.
It's been a hot minute since I've seen season 1. I kind of watched a small recap.
But who came with her was the, I don't know if it was a police officer at the time.
It was the new Babylon. Sorry, I had to deal with Cat. It was a new Babylon, so they're like the marshals. They're like the police, basically.
Right.
If you remember
But along with her was the police from last year that was searching out Negan. Yeah, so he was with her.
I don't know if you remember, but he told them that he killed Negan. And that Negan was dead.
Right. And he lied.
Yes. And then he also said about all the methane, which now they want to go back. So I'm kind of wondering how that's going to play out. Yeah. Inside the season, because he kept looking at that. Oh, actually, I'm skipping ahead. So
there's the governor of Manhattan, I guess is where Maggie's kind of located.
Well, she's somewhere in between Hilltop, where Hilltop was and Manhattan. So she's not in Manhattan.
But that Charlie Bird was the governor of Manhattan, and they brought with her with this group that came to Maggie's brick area that I guess Maggie's in charge of.
Yeah.
They brought somebody to show them who wasn't willing to help and assist them, who kind of ran away to hide, and they did a public execution of him.
And they
kind of show the whole crowd, hey, this is what you do if you don't listen to us. You get hung. So
which was
kind of gross.
Almost, now that I think about it, that's almost how we were introduced with the Saviors too. If you remember all the way back in season 6, that's how we were introduced to the Saviors, is by them hating someone who didn't listen to him.
Didn't listen.
Because Simon even said he was with a whole lot of people who didn't listen, and basically now look.
I saw that, whatever the hanging thing's called. I don't know what it's called, but anyway. Well, I saw the metal thing that was laid out for them. I saw that in the one of the scenes before they even hung him.
Okay.
And I thought, oh God, they must be hanging people, and they did. So back to Negan again. They pull him out of jail, out of the cell, and they talk to him and say, we want you to lead our group. Get all the people that are opposing each other, lead our groups together.
So the way I took it was like those different factions in Manhattan and New York in general, and they're trying to like unite all of them to fight the New Babylon force.
Okay.
And
Negan wants nothing to do with it. He wants to kind of go back to his jail cell until they mention his second wife, not Lucille, but his second wife and child. And then he's like, okay, I guess I gotta get on board and do it now.
Yeah. So they basically threatened him into doing it, which I mean, he takes no time getting back into this leadership role. Yeah,
his mind. Yeah, he went right down to that dark mind of original Negan 101.
And seeing the trailers for this, because I don't know if you watched any of the trailers. I didn't really show you any of them either. Mm-hmm. But seeing the trailers, I was really skeptical of how they were going to introduce that back to us, like introducing Negan, the old Negan.
Right.
And I kind of liked the way they did it.
Why? And what do you mean, why?
Because they threatened
they threatened
his family, and so it was like, I don't have any choice.
Right.
It wasn't Negan just...
Well, so he got in front of them and kind of half-ass gave a speech.
Hayden cusses all the time.
He gave a halfway speech to them, like not his whole heart into it, but then of course they were arguing and fighting with him. So then the one guy, handed him a new and improved Lucille. And that really got him in the right frame of mind.
Yes.
He kind of like really got into that. So this new and improved Lucille, because it doesn't. Because about the power they have from the methane and everything, basically they made it electrocution. So some guy hit it. Negan has a button, and he was able to electrocute, not kill, but electrocute.
Yeah. You see him, not in those things in this episode, but he was in like the next time trailer.
So he was able to electrocute, and the guy passed out or whatever. But so one of the things I guess Negan did say to the crowd was, we don't. How did he say it? He said, we have bright lights, you don't. We have awesome weapons, you don't. We have bombs, you don't. We have power, you don't. Power equals power.
Which is the episode title, Power Equals Power, which...
Oh, I didn't know that.
Yes. I already know that because I needed for the description for this episode. Okay.
So then you flip back to Maggie. Like I said, they keep going back and forth to Maggie. And Maggie is back to, they want her to come on board and go back to New York City to fight Negan to get their methane.
Well, not Negan, because they want them to fight the Cosette.
Okay.
The Cosette, which is kind of like, he was one of Negan's lieutenants who went too far. I don't know if you remember this, but he went too far. He was like the torturer, basically. And he like tortured someone like really badly, even too bad for Negan. And Negan kicked him out.
Tortured.
Yeah.
Tortured. Okay, so Maggie, I guess the original policeman, who's now, what did he say he was?
A lieutenant.
A lieutenant? I thought he was something else. Anyway.
No, he was a marshal. But
okay, now he's a lieutenant. He told that lady, the governor. He told the governor.
Say governor.
Yeah, the governor. He told her that Maggie's worth 20 people. And she's like, okay, prove it. So she made Maggie fight 20 zombies to see if she could kill them all. Which I think, in a way, that's kind of dumb, because if she died, then you just lost somebody that's with a lot of power, you know. So it's dumb. But of course, Maggie succeeds, along with
Ginny,
who
also volunteers to go to Manhattan
against
she wants to be
wishes.
Well, she wants to be reunited with Negan because Negan's kind of like the closest thing she has to a father.
Yeah, Negan killed her family.
Yeah,
it's kind of weird, but so Maggie, fights them all, and then kind of it ends, kind of Maggie and Ginny getting on the wagon to go off, but Maggie's just trying to, I think in the beginning of the whole episode, was trying to become a mom, not become a mom, she's already a mom. Being a mom, making a home, and of course they didn't allow that.
Yeah, because this is that type of road. All right, before we can continue on, I do want to ask you, of all the weapons that you've seen, so you've seen a barbell bat, you've seen a sword, a crossbow. What would be your weapon of choice in zombie apocalypse?
I don't know. There's so many good ones. What's yours? I'll start with yours.
Okay, I can't remember what I said. I think it was Shaun of the Dead. I was watching it, and I was trying to get to this point. I want to say a crossbow, a machete.
See, I don't think I thought the machete, but the crossbow, you lose your bow, you gotta go get it, you gotta replace them.
True.
I just don't think a crossbow would be it for me. I liked the machete. Although it's really long, I don't know. My first thought was machete.
Yeah, Lucio would be like my top one though. Yeah. Just because that can pack a lot of punch. All right, so how about where would you like to live in a zombie apocalypse?
Well, I would be somewhere warmer, near water.
Okay, that's a viable option.
Yeah, I don't know. I wouldn't be somewhere. I mean, it snows in New York. I wouldn't be there. I would be somewhere a little bit.
But snow
warmer.
can slow them down.
Yeah, but I don't know.
You're not a snow person, though.
I'm not a cold person. I'd be somewhere a little bit warmer. I mean, I stayed in the Virginia area and all that. I would have probably stayed there or something. But I'd be closer to water.
I could see you getting on a boat and finding a private island somewhere.
that would be probably smart too, unless the island's filled with people. But
well, you clear the walkers and stuff.
Yeah, but you got to be able to, have fruit and vegetables and all that. But the water, at least you can take a bath. I don't know. Can't drink it, I guess, but
no, do not drink salt water.
No, maybe fish, but fish could be contaminated. I don't know. That's a good question.
Something else I want to ask: why do you personally like Walking Dead? Like, what was?
I don't know.
Any particular reason?
In the beginning, the original Walking Dead, I liked the bonding. I liked how they were creative in coming up with things. Okay. They were trying to figure out a way to live. So it's that. But like I said, that's why this is all spun off to hate and evil and kill you. And I liked when they were all working. Real live humans were working together to stay alive. Yeah. And now they're all against each other.
So I have a few predictions. But I'm going to kind of get into that near the end of our episode recap. So we're going to keep talking about that.
I'm near the end, but go on.
Yeah. So we skipped the part about Herschel. Herschel doesn't want Maggie to go back. Right. Which is a real power struggle because Maggie promised him
to keep him safe.
To keep him safe and to just let the past be the past. Mm-hmm. And now she's going back, and he's like, no, you're going back for Negan. You can't let go of that. You can't move on from my dad's death. Right. It's kind of like the vibe I was getting.
Because they keep picking up that New York City hat, too, that was in Herschel's closet, and I think that must have been his dad's.
I don't know if it was his dad's. I think he would in season 1.
Okay, he bought it, he found it in season 1.
Yeah. Okay. Either found it, but Glenn did wear hats, if I remember correctly. It's been... I need to rewatch Walking Dead. What else my train of thought? So it was a real power struggle with Maggie and Herschel just no, if you go, I'm going to go with you.
Yeah. Well, you see a preview that he is there.
Okay, so I missed him being there. So I wonder how that's going to play out.
Yeah, because he didn't jump on the wagon with her. So
now, it could also be that the new Babylon don't get first choice and like they come back for him.
Maybe we'll see. We have to wait.
Or he escapes and goes back there, which is also very much a possibility. Because Soso's like, what, 16, 15?
Yeah, probably. I guess, yeah.
Yeah. Like, what else do you want to talk about here? Because I know we skipped things. She has notes, as I mentioned.
I didn't have to mention that. Megan, I guess. Negan feels like he's being used, I think. You know, he's found himself now being used instead of being always in the position of always being in power.
Yeah, and that's gonna play out interesting, I think, this season.
He'll spin, and he'll become the one powerful again. But
or he's gonna take down the Cosette and Dina, I think, or the Dina, or whatever her name is.
Mm-hmm.
I could see him turning on them, like gaining their trust, playing a long game now.
Right, and he spins it and he becomes more powerful.
Get his family safe. Right. Maybe something I could see them playing out is maybe, because in the trailer you see Maggie and Negan staying next to each other.
Standing in front of each other, yeah.
So maybe
see each other.
He says like, hey, take my family, I'm staying here and I'm going to take care of this problem for you.
Maybe, you can see that. But yeah, it continues. So basically, it kind of ends in season 2, episode 2. I guess episode 2, it'll continue in New York. Basically, the whole season will continue in New York City.
Yeah. I think most of the season. They said like they're gonna move up north, so like mid.
Okay.
Something like that. I thought you wrote that down.
No, I didn't.
Okay. Yeah. So I think they're gonna move up. In the north of New York.
I didn't. Oh, north of New York. But up in New York.
Yeah. So most of it will take place.
I think now that we watched the whole season, the thing that grosses me out is he really did eat a cockroach, so that kind of grosses me out. In the end, I don't remember that lady's name, the lady that
Dina
Herschel was drawing, that he remembers her, but was holding a mouse, so that was kind of disgusting as well.
Yeah, you even said like I could never play that part.
I could not play that part if I had to. You'd have to pay me a lot of money to sit there and pet a mouse. That's for sure.
I wonder if it was real. I mean,
you can do a lot, but I don't know.
Yeah.
I don't know.
So, like, my overall prediction, because the entire time, so when we were watching, I don't know if you remember, but when we were watching The Ones Who Live, I kept saying that they're going to bomb Alexandria and Rick's going to have to unite everyone and fight the CRM. I don't know if you remember me saying that.
I do remember that.
But that obviously didn't really happen.
No.
So now my mind...
Because Maggie and Negan is way off in New York and doing their own thing. And
so my kind of thought is like maybe that's what they're gearing up towards now. Because there's been a lot of speculation. So Scott M. Gimple has said that he wants to go back to doing 16 episodes per year.
Right.
And season 2 of The Ones Who Live has gotten leaked to be a thing. And Andrew Lincoln has also been seen with his Rick Grimes haircut. So...
Well, I don't know how they're going to get them together, but if that's the case...
I could see something happening near the end of this season where Maggie has to go back to the Commonwealth and just basically reunite. Well, not reunite,
with Negan?
I don't know. Maybe Negan stays there and she has to gather everyone up and they just go marching to New York, and that's kind of like The Ones Who Live, season 2. And somehow Dale and
have they said there's going to be a season 3 for this one?
No, they have not.
Okay.
So that's also something else I'm kind of wondering about. But that's kind of like my predictions. Do you have any predictions?
Not have any predictions. I don't know. I know there's been just a lot of spin-offs, and I guess I'd like to see them all back together. That would be nice.
And I think that's what they're heading towards. They have to be heading towards that because everyone wants that. Like, it would be really dumb for them not to have Rick reunite with Dale, because that's like what everyone is asking for.
Yeah.
And everyone wants to see that. So I think it'd be very interesting to see what comes of things.
Well, hopefully. We'll have to wait and see. So basically that was episode 1, so we can wait and see. Maybe we can do this again at the end of the season and
that's what I was going to say.
Up.
We're not going to do every single episode just because we actually go on vacation in 2 weeks now. less than 2 weeks, we will be sitting on the beach somewhere nice. And so we're trying to scramble to get all that done, and I'm trying to get episodes out for you guys, which has to go out tonight. Have to do all the editing by myself.
Well, thank you for inviting me.
Well, thank you for coming.
We'll have to do this again.
Yes. So any zombie media, I think from now on, she will be part of, even if it's with Hayden. I think she's going to be coming with us.
Right.
But this is the Graveyard Shift. Go to idiots, talk cool. Good night, everyone.